Hello Internet, it's me, Josh, the Aging Gamer. So here I am again with another video, except for this one's a little bit different because a couple of videos back I was celebrating my 100th retro review. I've been on YouTube for 5 years. I want to do something big. I can't do a giveaway because I don't make any money off of this, so you know, I'm going to be kind of a cheapskate. Instead I said, hey, let's do an AMA, ask me anything, a Q&A, whatever you want to call it. So I made a post asking on YouTube, I did it on my Instagram, you know, any questions you guys want to ask me, and I got a few, so I thought, yeah, let's go ahead and do this video. But again, before I start, I want to thank you guys again. I want to thank all of you for watching my videos. I have a lot of people I see again and again commenting. There's a lot of you, and a lot of you ask questions too, and I just think it's so awesome. Like, this is why I like doing these videos, because I like interacting with people and meeting people, and it's just, it's cool. So thank you guys. So let's go ahead and get to the first question. So for my first question from Blue5252, he asked, what are your favorite console generations? So that's kind of tough. From what I post on my channel, you'd probably think it'd be like the NES era or the Super Nintendo / Sega Genesis era, but honestly, I think my favorite era of gaming was the Nintendo 64 / PlayStation / Game Boy Color era. That had a lot of my favorite games. On the Nintendo 64 side, you got Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, WWF No Mercy, Super Smash Brothers, just a lot of good games on that side. And then on the PlayStation side, you got, of course, all the Final Fantasies, Chrono Trigger's on there, Parasite Eve, you got all the Resident Evils, Silent Hills, Tekken. There's just a lot of good RPGs just in general on the PlayStation. And then the Game Boy, you got Pokemon, which I was super into Pokemon when it first came out, and the Zelda Oracle games, and yeah, there's just a lot of good stuff from that era. Blue5252 also asks, first games and console owned. I kind of went over this on my last review, but the Nintendo Entertainment System was my first system. It is one of the earliest memories I have of my parents giving us that. I want to say it was for Christmas, and we got the Super Mario Brothers with Duck Hunt and the Track Meet whatever game, and also the Legend of Zelda. We eventually got more NES games that my parents, you know, thought, hey, you guys like Looney Tunes and Home Alone, right? Well, here's Looney Tunes and Home Alone for the NES. Here's the Muppets the Muppets Circus something like that. Oh, and I also had Darkwing Duck and Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers and a lot of like Disney games like that. So yeah, those were the first games I had, and those got me into gaming, and I don't think I could have had a better start. So my next question from Mark Holtzen, I actually got 3 questions from him. The first one is, if given 1 hour where you could sit down with any person, alive or dead, and play any game, which person would you choose to play a game with, and what video game would you play? That is a very deep question. My first instinct is to say maybe a relative. I have a couple of relatives that have passed away. I'd love to see them again, but they wouldn't play video games with me. So I think if I could choose anyone, I would choose my wife. I would like my wife to sit down and play some retro video games with me. She'll play Mario Kart, like, for the Switch and stuff like that, but I want her to play some retro games with me. So if you're watching this, babe, play some games with me! So for his second question, are you the type of retro gamer who never moved on when new console generations were added, or the type who moved on, then after a period of time, returned to them after looking back fondly? Yes and no. So, I love my retro games. I can play them all the time, but I do always look at what's coming out soon. So, I always have pretty much all my consoles hooked up at all times, and I'm playing everything all the time. There's lots of old games I go back and I play quite a bit, like I mentioned, WWF No Mercy for the Nintendo 64. I freaking love that game. There's a lot of games that get re-released on all these consoles. Like when I had the Wii, I was playing all these Wii games, and I was playing the hell out of all those Virtual Console games. Same with the PlayStation 3 when it came out. I downloaded so many PS1 games. I went back and forth between PS3, PS1. So I always look forward to what's coming out, but I play everything all the time, so I can't really say I even get nostalgic for some games because I don't let them go. So, yeah, I hope that answers the question. For his third question, in a video game themed ninja costume, what type of video games would you throw as shurikens? Would you throw discs or cartridge games? I would throw discs. I would snap them in half, make them sharp, throw those suckers, and just cut people up. I'd have some broken disc on me where I could just chink, hit someone right in the throat, cut them up, maybe take a disc, bash it up, just crush it up into just shards like dust, and just throw it in people's eyes and blind them like a ninja. And yeah, I don't think I could do that with a cartridge, so yeah. My next question is from Frederick Bush. Hey Jabroni, do you have any hobbies outside of retro gaming, and what is your current game you're playing in 2020? Well, listen here, Jabroni. I don't really have too many hobbies outside of gaming right now. I work full-time. When I'm not working, I am pretty much taking care of my son. I come home, do the whole playtime and bath time and dinner time and bedtime and all that stuff. And by the time he goes to bed, it's already late and I don't really have much time to myself. So that's pretty much my hobby right now, being a dad. So as for games I've been playing in 2020, sticking to strictly 2020 games, I got Animal Crossing at the beginning of the year, and I didn't really care for that as much as I thought I would. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I got that, and I was super disappointed. I actually put the game down, and I haven't touched it because I was just so mad. But that's one I want to save for a different time, a different video, if I ever go back to that game. Alright, Mega Harv asked, oh man, pro wrestling? Do you still keep up with wrestling today? Who was your favorite wrestler growing up? So I kind of keep up with wrestling today. When I was younger, when I was just a little aging gamer, like, I kept up with wrestling religiously. Like, I just, like, anything wrestling, like, I was a walking encyclopedia on it. But the past couple of years, it's been so bleh. But, with AEW coming out, All Elite Wrestling, it sparked my interest in wrestling again. I love what they're doing over there. On the WWE side, not so much. I mean, there's some stuff there that's cool, but it's so, like, there's so many, like, hours of wrestling that they do a week. It's, like, impossible to keep up with everything, and only so much of it is actually watchable and good. It's just, I can't keep up with WWE. I don't really pay attention to that, but AEW, I love what they're doing over there, and I look forward to seeing what else they do. As for my favorite wrestler growing up, there was a lot. There's a lot of good ones. But my most favorite wrestler in the whole entire world, and probably is the one that got me into wrestling, was The Undertaker. And with that said, I'm so glad he finally retired because, God, he was looking rough for a very long time. So my next question is from YNV Gamer. Can you review the adventures of Batman and Robin? Absolutely. When I was doing my review on Batman Return of the Joker back in October, I totally forgot that Batman and Robin game even existed. I thought, well, I think I did every, like, console, like, old console Batman game, but I totally forgot Adventures of Batman and Robin. Visually, it is a great game. The cartoon that it's based on, I absolutely love it. So at some point, I don't want to say in the near future, but eventually that's something I do want to get to. So 123123 asks, what kind of music do you enjoy? So I enjoy a lot of the old school rock. I'm talking, you know, like 80s stuff like Van Halen and Motley Crue, and then, you know, even further back beyond that, you know, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Ozzy Osbourne. I'm drawing a lot of blanks right now. Yeah, and even like the golden oldies, like 50s and 60s. I love listening to stuff like that. I also love 90s music because that's the era I grew up in. So things, of course, like Marilyn Manson, 9 Inch Nails, that era of Korn, Smashing Pumpkins, Weezer, things like that. I love that stuff too. As for more current stuff, I don't really listen to the radio, so I just pretty much listen to stuff I already know. So if you look at, like, if I were to grab a CD out of my car right now, it's got like Metallica and Megadeth and Slayer. So I don't know, I love all that kind of stuff. So my next question is from ProLifeed101. What's your favorite 8-bit Mario game? Well, it's not the first Mario, it's not the second Mario, it's actually Super Mario Land 2 for the Game Boy. I think it's fantastic, I love it, it's so original, it's got ideas that haven't been in any other Mario game, and it's just a fun game. And I love the Game Boy. It's like, the Game Boy is one of my favorite systems. So my next question is from CrazyMofo5150. Physical media or digital, whether it be gaming, movies, or music? When it comes to gaming, I like all of my stuff physical. I like it physical. It's not gonna weird. I like having the actual game in front of me. I understand the luxury of having it digital. You can, just access all your games from the system. You don't have to get up and change the little cartridge or disc or whatever. And it takes up less space. And I understand that, but for me, I like the physical items because that's kind of how I've always had it, so that's how I prefer it. Also, I think, sometime in the future, like the Nintendo Switch, for example, I can play all my Switch games, all my physical Switch games on the Switch. Say in the year 2030, 2040, they make this device that's backwards compatible with the Switch and the Wii and the Wii U, and I have all those games still. I can just pop it on in and just play it like that. So, I don't know, I always prefer it physical. Whereas movies and music, you can do digital on that, especially music. It's just so much easier just to have it digital because you can just pick and choose whatever songs you want. You can just load it up onto a list, throw it here, throw it there, and just listen to it, and it's just so much easier. That, I think, no problem going digital. Same with movies, I guess. I mostly stream movies, so off of Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Amazon. So that's kind of how I watch my movies. So, yeah. So my next question is from Cobra Commander. They got Doom 64 remastered on PlayStation Network for $1. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Doom 64, though, is more in vein with the original Doom and Doom 2. Not so much like Doom 3 and the new Dooms that we got now. So if you like the old school PC Doom, definitely, it's a lot like that. It's a lot cleaner looking. They brightened up the game because the original was so dark. They brightened it up so it's better to play. It is a lot harder than the original games, so yeah, I mean, if you like the original Doom and Doom 2, absolutely. Go to Sleep327 asks. By the way, you should check that guy's channel out. He does music, he does art, he does a lot of cool stuff. He asks, why can't I understand WWE's booking? No one can, so don't feel bad, because I don't think WWE even understands what they're doing or knows what they're doing. They just play it, day by day, hour by hour. They don't know what they're doing. They don't plan anything, so that's why they suck. Alright, so my next question is from Echelon Matt, who's actually got a couple of questions. What do modern games accomplish besides graphics that older games just couldn't? Well, modern games have the benefit of the controller. There's so many more buttons, so it's so much easier to play different games. Also, modern games have made everything more cinematic, for better or for worse. Classic games, you can just turn it on and you're just right on into the game. You're playing, it's action-packed, and you couldn't beat a lot of those games back then. A lot of them were super hard, where games today are just kind of like almost meant to be beaten because they're telling the story. So his next question is, what's missing from modern games that classics had? So this is kind of a reverse question of his last one. Well, first off, older games were a complete package. That's the thing I think I enjoy the most, is you can just go and play the game and you play it as is, and you got the whole thing. And one thing I can also really enjoy about older games is that they weren't afraid to just try new things. I think with the way games are today, maybe they're too expensive to make, so they take less risk. But you look at all the gaming protagonists of today's era, and they're all these like generic brown-haired white guys, where back in the day, you know, you had a blue hedgehog, a green fairy boy with a sword, a plumber in a red suit, you know, and it was just like everything was so original. Today's games lack a lot of originality. Some of the best games that I play in modern gaming are actually indie games, because they just seem to be trying new things, whereas all the big AAA titles, you know, just play it safe. So that's what I'm gonna go with. And he also asked, how are you? How's the family? Everyone's doing good. My baby boy is nice and healthy, and he's growing up quick. As for myself and the missus, we're tired, but we're doing. On to my last question from Super Saiyan Goten 99. If you can remake a retro game with today's graphics, what will it be that hasn't already been done? Super Mario Land 2 would be an awesome one. WWF No Mercy would be an awesome one. But if we're going strictly off graphics, I would have to go with Earthbound. That's a great RPG that could really use a facelift. Not that it's a bad looking game, but I think it'd be really cool if they redid it and had that kind of claymation style you saw in the advertisements for it. I think that would be a really cool game. So yeah, that's my final question. Thank you guys for asking me. I thought this was fun. Hopefully you guys find it fun and don't get tired of hearing my voice, because sometimes I go back and listen to my videos, I'm like, oh, my voice sounds so boring. So if you guys made it this far, thank you. We'll have to do it again sometime. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this. I got more reviews to work on, so I will see you all on the next one. Thank you all for watching. Again, I love you guys, and I'll see you all later.